All right, and we are live. Welcome to Wednesday night, the RSN Team Racing Series here at Gateway. And Tracy, this is the first time that we have run this track, so we don't have any information. We have no statistics. We couldn't even tell you how far these guys are going to get tonight on tires and fuel. A couple of guys I talked to this afternoon estimate somewhere around 60 laps on fuel, 50 laps maybe on tires, but I'll tell you what, a mile and a quarter track tonight, flat track. We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, I was paying attention to what these guys were doing in practice there, JD. I didn't see too many guys running too many long runs. Most I've seen is maybe between 7 and 10 that I had on my scoring, so it's really going to make it really interesting for us to see how this race. This race is almost kind of going to be up in the air to see who's going to win it.
Yeah, you got that right. Without any previous statistic, we couldn't even tell you what the caution average is going to be tonight. But I'll tell you what, let's talk about last week here for a little bit, Milwaukee Mile. And I'll tell you that I think we got out of there with about 5 or 6 cautions from Milwaukee. I think we were just under the average for the Milwaukee Mile. But Don Klein winning the race there for, I believe he runs for Crossed Up Motorsports, if I'm not mistaken. But it was a good points night for a couple of teams, namely Halls on Post guys. They're up a position this week, and along with MTCO Racing. But we'll get to that here in just a minute. I believe we're doing, I think it's 125 laps here tonight. Yeah, 125 laps here tonight at Gateway International Raceway, guys. So I'll tell you what, looking forward to this one. First time here at Gateway.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be like a really fun track there, JD. Tell you what, got some really long straightaways in this. Really made it difficult on the crew chiefs to pick a gear for this track. You're turning them motors pretty much right up to the red line, but you're going to have to keep that RPMs down and the gearing down. That way you can get off those corners through the middle, so should make it really interesting. I'm sure that gear ratios are across the board out there today.
Yeah, you bet. And I'll tell you what, in the booth tonight, JD, the Cowboy Webb. Howdy, folks. Tracy Flip Robinson, John, the Bad Boy Westling. Can't see him, but I'll tell you what, he's always here, back behind us, pushing the buttons on the cameras tonight. And I'll tell you what, really looking forward to this one. But to continue with last week's race at Milwaukee, penalties coming out, Tracy. 10 points to Crossed Up Motorsports. A couple of issues with the 3-car, Hal Beardsworth, and then Iron Pigs Racing. 10 points to those boys too. DePino and Wiley got in a little bit of a tussle, brought the yellow out a couple times. MTCO Racing, Jay Bunn earning 5-point penalty for a self-spin, I believe it was, last week at Milwaukee. So I'll tell you what, along with the 5 or 6 cautions we had, there were some penalty points that were distributed this week as well.
Yeah, I tell you what, people are going to go back and add up all those penalty points they got this year and then look to see where it might put them out there on the field as far as their position. But looking over these points, JD, it looks to me like we still have 4 teams in this championship. I'm looking for any team outside of 100 points back and not going to be able to take this championship. So you're looking at Lead Sim Racing is leading the points all the way back down to Dragon Motorsports, 4th, 46 points behind.
Yeah, you bet. And I'll tell you what, why don't we go ahead and take you down through the points, and we'll tell you who's who and who's where in the RSN Team Racing Series here on Wednesday night. And let's just start right out there on the top, Elite Sim Racing. I'll tell you what, Tracy, they started out the season. They were a couple of positions down, but it didn't take them long. Got right up to the top, and they pretty much stayed there for the last couple of weeks. Halls on Post right behind them. Tony Bowling, Dwayne Hall, Kyle Lent in the on the track tonight. And up 1 position. Good show at Milwaukee last week, 19 points behind the leader.
Yeah, I tell you what, just 19 points, that isn't so bad. Then you got in 3rd place tonight, Iron Pig Racing. They're down 1 spot. They used to hold that 2nd position. They've got 400 points, and they're 39 points behind your lead team. And then you got in 4th position, staying in there consistent in the 4th spot, the Dragon Motorsports team. They're 393 points right now and 46 points behind, JD.
I'll tell you what, Dragon Motorsports had a good night at Milwaukee last week. I believe they had a couple of cars, Mullican and Samato, both of them finishing in the top 10. And Jody Johnson in the car for the first time for the team last week. Hooten was unavailable, but finished way outside the top 10. But I'll tell you what, in 5th position, ETV Live, they're up a position this week, guys. Jerry Hinkle, Howard Pittman, and Brian Pace on the track tonight at Gateway. 311 points, 128 points behind the leader. And then coming up in 6th position, they're up 2 spots, guys. MTCO.com racing team. I'll tell you what, Jay Bunn, Tom Plazinski, Jesse the Wallbanger Racimus on the track tonight here at Gateway. And I'll tell you what, MTCO 137 points behind the leader, Tracy.
Yeah, running in 7th place is the RSM Nation net team. They're 2 spots back tonight. They got 296 points, 143 points behind, JD. Tell you what, they just have issues, been get caught up and stuff, and really slowing that team down. Then an 8th spot, down 1 place to that Cross-Up Motorsports team. Tell you what, just everything seems to be hitting their guys, just having a really tough time to race. A lot of incidents and crashes really affecting their points. They've got 277 points, 162 back, JD.
You bet. And I'll tell you what, that 10-point penalty cost them a bundle for sure, Iron Pigs team there. But qualifying in tonight for the house team for on a rare occasion, Dan White in the number 4 machine tonight, and then the 00 of, I believe his name is Ben Bando, qualifying in for the house team.
That should help out that house team tonight, JD. We've only had 1 car out there run for the house team so far, and that was 07 of Lance Walker. So now tonight we've got 2 cars running out. The Ben Bando hasn't been around here for a while. I don't remember him for a few seasons, but I do know the name. And then you got the Master, the 4 of Dan White, coming out here to have fun on Gateway Racetrack, JD.
You bet. And, John Westling, I believe you know Ben Bando from way back.
Yeah, he's been around. He raced a lot over at BCR with Dwayne Hall and all them. In fact, I think he was on Sean Bickle's True Gravity Arc Designs team probably before we did race Sim Nation. So he's been around. He's very fast. I'm not sure. I ain't seen him in ARC in a while. He usually hung around his little pal Paul Conway. I haven't seen that little rodent around in a while, but yeah, them two used to be a pair.
Paul Conway. Yeah, Paul Conway's he's got some pretty good stats here at the Nation too. Haven't seen him in a while, but I believe he was in college or going to school or something. Of course, that might have an effect on your racing schedule throughout the week. But I'll tell you what, Tracy, I'm kind of excited for tonight. First time here at Gateway, and a little bit about this track. The 1.25 mile track, and it's in Madison, Illinois. Madison is famous for another kind of racing. You know what it is?
Oh, Madison, not really too sure, JD. I think it was horse racing.
Not put them in the water. I'll tell you what, I believe it's Madison that's famous for hydroplane racing. At least I've heard of that before, and I'm sure I'm not sure if it's Illinois or not, but Madison. But at any rate, I'll tell you what, 1.25 mile track tonight, the turns are banked at about 11 degrees and 9 degrees, so I'll tell you what, we'll just call it a flat track tonight. The turns aren't going to help you much here. The radius is pretty tight, and I know you got to stay off the throttle until you're just pretty much all the way out of the turn.
Yeah, it kind of resembles 2 drag strips with 2 corners at each end, where you're constantly drag racing the other guy.
Yeah, it's kind of like another Milwaukee mile, but just a little bit longer, 1.25 miles. So I don't know. After coming from last week race at Milwaukee, maybe these guys are ready for this one here tonight too. But I'll tell you what, we are getting close here to race time, and why don't we go ahead and we'll send it on down trackside to Cactus Cuties, national recording artist. They'll present our national anthem. So here they are.
Oh, say, can you see what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
All right, and I'll tell you what it is. Gentlemen, start your engines time as we get lined up on the grid out here tonight at Gateway International Raceway here in Madison, Illinois, Tracy. And get these boys out here on the grid. Qualifying on the pole tonight is going to be Kevin Brents. Outside him, the 84 car, Chris Wilson.
And starting third tonight, the 16 of Kyle Lint. Starting fourth, the 27 of Larry Mulligan.
And Dan White qualifying in for the house team tonight in fifth position. Outside of him, the 21 for Hold On Post, Tony Bowling.
Starting seventh tonight, the 78 of Chris Melton. Starting eighth, the 62 of Danny Gabaldon.
Ernie D'Alfonso on the inside in ninth position. Outside him, Don Klein in 10th.
Starting 11th tonight, the number 8 of Dave Houghton. And starting 12th, the 22 of Frankie Simano.
And back on the inside, starting in the 13th position tonight, the number 70, the wall banger, Jesse Racines.
Start.
And then 14th on the outside of him, the 55 of Dwayne Hall.
Starting 15th tonight, the number 77 of Jason Krause. Starting 16th, the number 3 of Hal Beardsworth.
In 17th position tonight on the inside, the 65 of Sean Brown. Outside him, the 47, Roger Haygood in 18th.
Starting 19th tonight, the 28 of Howard Pittman. Starting 20th, the 73 of Dan Wiley.
Kevin Franks will be starting in 21st position on the inside. Outside him, the 33, Jerry Hinkle.
23rd will be the 00 of Ben Bando for the house team. And starting 24th, the 15 of Brian Pace.
Jay Bunn will help bring up the rear here, starting in 25th on the inside. Outside him, the 17 car of Tom Pozinski. And Kevin Brent's going to collect the green flag when we get the go signal here. Chris Wilson up on the outside of him. I'll tell you what, this will be a battle to watch right here.
I tell you what, this whole track's going to be an interesting battle from the start to the end. Hopefully these guys are going to warm up them brakes. So when they go flying down into corner one, being that long of a straightaway, everybody's brakes are going to work. You won't see anybody plowing into the back. The other guy will get through corner one without any incidents tonight, JD.
Yeah, and we'll have to keep an eye on that for sure. First time here at Gateway International Speedway, guys, as we're getting ready to race here. And again, Tracy, we're looking at about 60 laps on fuel and 50 laps possibly on tires. Talking to these guys this afternoon down there in the garage. It's a brand new track. They haven't been here before, so not a whole lot of practice time for some of these guys out here today as the pace car pulls off, headed down pit road, and we're set to go racing here at Gateway International Raceway, rounding the turn coming off of turn 4 here. And Chris Wilson and Kevin Brents will take us to the start-finish line and collect that green flag.
Green, 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 green.
And the green flag is out, and Kevin Brents gets a pretty good jump on Chris Wilson on the inside here. Chris still up there on the outside. He's got Kyle Lent and Dan White behind him. And already getting too wide back here, Larry Mulliken for Dragon Motorsports. Tony Bowling going alongside on the inside here. Heading down the backstretch. And Tony, man, I'll tell you what, slice and dice right in front of the 27 car.
Tell you what, we're still deep side-by-side racing in there, JD, as they're heading off into corner 3. Everybody doing a real good job staying off each other. I'm back here by the 3 of Hal Beardsworth, way back in the pack. On the outside, underneath the 28 of Howard Pittman, being followed by the 00 Ben Bando and the 47 of Roger Hayes as they head down into 1. And I see a little smoke from brakes, JD.
Oh, and Danny Baldwin almost slams in the back of Chris Melton coming into the turn there. Had to get way off the throttle, send him up high on the track. That allowed Jesse Racimas to get alongside him back here in 10th and 11th position back here, guys.
Yeah, and I was watching that 24 Verni Dio Fondo getting really loose on the
Whoa.
straightaway, JD. I'm not too sure what was happening, but he's able to save that car.
Yeah, and Dave Houghton back here in 11th position coming in out of turn 4, hit the apron there just a little bit. Almost got it sideways as he gets clipped by Don Klein going through turn 2, guys. Caution coming out for the first time here at Gateway Speedway. Looks like the 37 of Jay Bunn involved in this one, guys, and I believe there's another car too. I think it's the 73 of Dan Wiley involved in this one, John. See if we can't pull it back up on the replay here.
Yeah, this looks like another track. Dwayne Hall's going to have to work on the cameras, guys. These things are horrible, but we'll do what we can here. Jay Bunn's going to come into the corner, and that 73 of Wiley just going to give him a little love tap, send them both into the outside wall, guys.
Okay.
Yeah, I hear you about the cameras here. You know, I'm wondering if the Milwaukee Mile cameras might work here, but you're absolutely right. Bunn gets into Wiley gets into the back of Bunn just a hair here and knocks him for a loop. But I tell you what, just a light tap into the outside wall, guys. And short track racing here tonight. You know, and this is probably to be expected. Jay Bunn and Wiley will get their cars down pit road, Tracy, and get them fixed up and get back out on the track.
Yeah, they'll run down there, get some fresh tires, fill them up, pull out any little bit of damage you might have, and get back out on the racetrack and just work on that setup probably a little bit, maybe even throw on a set of scuffs, JD.
You bet. And I'll tell you what, this will give us our first opportunity to step away and take a commercial break right here on ETV Live, and you're watching it live. Gateway International Raceway. Don't go away. We'll be right back. You're watching ETV Live, the leader in sim broadcasting. The very best in the business brings you the highest in broadcast quality and archived high-def replays for you to watch anytime for free. Superior audio and exclusive instant replays by the ETV ePlay machine. Producer John Wessling has talented commentators like the Cowboy, J.D. Webb, Tracy Flip Robinson on Monday and Wednesday nights, David Big Mouth Bass, and Jesse the Outlaw James calling the action on Tuesday nights, and don't miss the ETV Live Band. Broadcasting weekly from RaceSimNation.net. Catch the Halls on Post Monday Night Series, True Gravity Truck Races on Tuesday nights, and the infamous Team Series on Wednesday nights at 8:50 p.m. Eastern. Have some fun with the broadcast team in the ETV chat room. Hey, and listen to a live race counter. It's all at RaceSimNation.net on the live feed link. Remember, ETV Live, the leader in sim broadcasting. It's the only choice, cowboy. All right, and we are back live. Gateway International Speedway here in Madison, Illinois, guys. I'll tell you what, they're coming off the first caution 37 Jay Bunt for MTCO Racing. Dan Wiley for off the top of my head, involved in that first caution. I have to look on my list. Iron Pigs Racing. It's pretty hard to keep up with some of the name changes about every other day here, Tracy. But 37 car for MTCO, Jay Bunt, 73 Dan Wiley, Iron Pigs, bringing out that first caution on lap 2. And I'll tell you what, single file start in here again, and we'll get back to racing here momentarily.
Yeah, I tell you, not too sure how that's going to work out on this track here tonight, JD, being that was our first trip here. I don't know. I think damage will affect you a little bit on them long straightaways as we head further to the green flag just comes out, JD.
Hey, bet Kevin Brent's picking up that green flag one more time. Chris Wilson, Kyle Lent, Dan White, Tony Bowling for Halls on Post behind him. And I'll tell you what, Halls on Post had a pretty decent week last week. As we talked about him in the points, up a position this week. Tony Bowling, Dwayne Hall, and Kyle Lent on the track here tonight. We haven't seen Kyle out here for some time, but so far so good. Start looks good. And Dan White, the master of it all, he had a pretty rough night last Monday night as well, guys.
Whoa, JD, we got a car around down the front stretch of 33 of Jerry Hinkle. I tell you what, we had a lot of action happening down there. Looks like we got a car up here that had his front brakes locked up too. But Tom Plazinski, right around those guys, had a lot of action, and the 33 went around.
Yeah, almost looks like the 17 car gets into the 33 here just a little bit, upsets him, tries to get it back going down the front stretch, and then gets plowed into by, I can't see the car.
Yeah, it looks like Jay Bunn might have got, or whoever. Yeah, it looked like, was that Jay Bunn? I can't quite tell, but like I said, these troubles are hurting tonight. But somebody comes down. It looks like I got loose, came right down on top of Jerry Hinkle. Jerry Hinkle had it saved, and then he got tapped by another car.
Yeah, I was looking at that. Looked like Tom Plazinski got loose off the corner, came down, caught that right rear corner of Jerry Hinkle. Then it was a 78 who seemed just came in and just clipped him and kind of finished him off there, guys.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. And 78 didn't look like the 78 car really had any place to go here. He had the 70 of Racines up on the outside, taking it 3 wide, coming down the front stretch here, trying to get past Tom Plazinski, who jumped out of the throttle after clipping the 33 car. And unfortunately, Melton had too much speed going in between the 17 and the 70, and unfortunately couldn't go anywhere. Jerry Hinkle right there in the front and made contact with the 33 car guys. So I tell you what, caution number 2 coming out here on lap 8, and looks like it might be a rough night, Tracy.
Yeah, with the little experiences we have running this track, it's going to be pretty tough. Looks like everybody's trying to stay fairly clean, but looks like getting off the corners, your car is getting loose. It looks like there's a transition just as you exit it where the track drops off underneath the cars there, JD, which will upset your chassis.
Yeah, you bet. I had the opportunity to race this track here quite some time ago in another league. And I'll tell you what, you really got to be careful at this track. And, it's a flat track, it's short track racing. And you just can't jump back in the throttle like you can at some of the mile-and-a-half tracks, say Las Vegas Motor Speedway, with the high bank turns on it. You can pretty well stay in the throttle for a little bit longer and get back in it a little bit sooner. But you just can't do that here on these flat tracks. You got to let it roll through the turns and pretty much wait until you're all the way through that second apex and just gently get back on the throttle as you're coming off and that car's pointed straight.
Okay, we're going back.
Yeah, lots of throttle control on this track, Judy. Like I said, if you look down the straightaways, you're heading down it, you can see that corner raises up to get the banking in it, and it's actually late when the banking drops off on the straightaway. You're actually in it, so if you're under power and just getting off that exit, all of a sudden that track just drops off from underneath you, and yeah, it just instantly gets loose.
Yeah, you bet. And I'll tell you what, back out here in front, Kevin Brent's Chris Wilson, Kyle Ent, Dan White. Nothing's changed up here, guys. Larry Mulligan for Dragon Motorsports working his way forward up here for your top 5 on this restart. And I'll tell you what, going back here just a little deeper, Ernie D'Alfonso in that 24 car, Tracy, I saw he had about 112 laps or so under his belt during the practice session here. The pace car pulls off to the left here, heading down pit road, and we're set to take the green flag for the 3rd time here at Gateway International Speedway. And I'll tell you what, I hope these first 2 cautions isn't the sign of things to come as we pick up the green flag here.
Everybody heading down to that first corner again. Hopefully got their brakes warmed up. As it looks like Kevin Brents is going to lead the way in with Chris Wilson right behind him, followed closely by Kyle Ent, JD.
Too wide back here with in 12th position back here to 65 of Sean Brown. Ben Bando up on the outside, but Brown thinks twice, backs it off, fills in the hole behind Ben Bando here. Bando qualifying in for the house team. And then here comes that number 3. Who's going to finish second? Hal Beardsworth, as he muscles that number 3 Crossed Up Motorsports around the 65 car, guys.
Chasing Crossed Up there, JD. The 3 and 65 teammates that Hal Beardsworth took that spot on him. But I tell you what, we almost had another accident. The 47 of Roger Hagan got up in the wall, and then Jesse Racines just kind of got real close to him and got a fender rub on him, but they were able to keep them cars going straight, though.
Hey, but Crossed Up Motorsports, suffered a setback last week. They're down a position this week, guys, and I'll tell you what, at times they've only got two drivers, 2 teammates out here on the track pretty much at any given time, but tonight it's Don Klein, Hal Beardsworth, and Sean Brown for Crossed Up Motorsports. So I'll tell you what, Tracy, they're looking to put something together here tonight and get that position back and maybe move it up another notch.
Yeah, I'm trying to find Don Klein. I know Don Klein's running really good. He's up there in that top 10, running right behind Danny Gabaldon with Dwayne Hall on him. So all you need is those other 2 cars from Crossed Up Motorsports, especially that 3 of Hal Beardsworth just having a miserable last few weeks, getting caught up in pretty much every accident that comes around the track. As Monday night, he seemed to, every time there's a caution, somehow he got involved in it, JD.
Yeah, and I forgot one of my props tonight. I actually have a couple of bananas over there on the table, and I was going to hold up the banana peel, as a prop. I'll tell you what, Hal Beardsworth finding that banana peel just about every track he goes to. I'll tell you what, his luck has just seemed to be running out here rather quick, but hopefully he'll have better luck here at Gateway tonight with the RSN Team Series. But I'll tell you what, let's bring the folks up to date and let them know what this Team Series is all about. And it's just that, team racing here, and it's not the matter of who wins the race necessarily. It's about how far forward your team finishes on the grid. And I'll tell you what, 3 drivers are allowed to race out here, teams of 4 drivers, 3 of them on the track at any one given time. But it's where you finish and how close you finish together here in the Team Racing Series, and that's how you gain the most points. So you can win the race, take the trophy home, but it may not mean much if the rest of your team finishes dead last, Tracy.
Yeah, so far the team working on that strategy the best at the moment is that Elite Sim Racing, as they've got a car in 2nd, and it looks like in 6th place and 7th, JD.
You bet. And I'm back here watching Danny Gabaldon in 8th place back here for Elite Sim Racing. And, got to mention, I don't know if anybody knows about it, and I might be overshooting my boundary here, but Danny Gabaldon drives with one hand, boys. I mean, that's got to be some skill there. Danny Gabaldon apparently has only got one hand that he can drive with, but he's able to muscle that car around the track and does a darn good job of it, I'll tell you that. Gabaldon running for Elite Sim Racing tonight in the top 10 in 8th position, Tracy.
Yeah, I tell you what, that's doing a really good job, because you got a lot of guys out here who have a lot of issues just driving with 2 hands, more or less with 1. So Danny Gabaldon doing a great job out there. Just kind of looking around like the track, JD, looks like everybody's got maybe kind of comfortable gotten a line down, so I'm trying to keep. It looks like a lot of cars still getting loose coming off too there, JD.
Yeah, like I said, we were talking earlier here just a little bit ago. Not a whole lot of practice time for a lot of these drivers out here. I know a couple of them, Danny Gabaldon, I think was one. Ernie D'Alfonso, I think was the other, had 100 and some odd laps out here during practice time. So they did manage to get some time out here at the track. For the most part, a lot of these drivers are only able to get about 20 laps in during practice season or practice session. So be interesting to see what happens to the bulk of these drivers out here. And I'll tell you what, Tracy, I have a hard enough time driving with both hands.
Yeah, I mean, he knew both. I usually have an issue. I'll burn that right front tire out pretty dang fast, and my car will be pushing about hitting the wall about now. Sort of like some of the cars are way in the back right now. It looks like their handling has just kind of gone away from them there. I'm riding with the 78 of Chris Melton. You know, something I've noticed with Chris Melton, the way he's been racing lately, he's been doing the little hang back, kind of let everybody run their stuff off, and then by the end of the race, have a nice clean car ready to race, JD.
Yeah, just watching Don Klein up here in front of Ernie D'Alfonso running in sixth position up here, as he's banged the wall now about the same time on each side of the track, coming off of turn 2 and turn 4. As you said, we had somebody around.
No, just letting you know, JD, the 70 Jesse Seams is working his way forward. He just got around that 65 of Sean Brown, working on that number 3 car, trying to get around him.
Oh, copy that. And I'll tell you what, I think you're right. It looks like things have pretty much settled down. We got the anxiousness out of the way here. 21 laps in the books here, 125 laps at Gateway. But I'm seeing a lot of wall banging here tonight, Tracy, and not just from that 70 machine.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that some of them are starting to push a little bit. We got a little longer run finally in. Now we got a caution out, JD.
You bet, and the yellow flag's flying. Looks like the 37 car, Jay Bunn, going around down here, guys. And see if I can't pick up on my monitor here. And man, I tell you, these cameras are just. I want to say he got it up by himself. Looks like he might have.
Okay, the leader just took.
Looks like it's a banana peel, Tracy. He just finds that banana peel coming off of turn 4. I believe it's turn 4, and right here on the front stretch, and just takes it for a ride, John.
Yeah, definitely. He just lost it. He was involved in that last wreck, too. If you remember, well, actually, it was a caution before that with Dan Wiley, I believe it was. But that might have caused some damage as Wiley just comes plowing through the field under caution way after the caution came out, guys. Why he was flying through the track that fast, I have no clue, but he annihilates that 37, Jay Bunn.
Wow, unbelievable.
Yeah, look like them guys are still racing.
Caution is already out, guys, and he's got. Well, I don't think it was intentional, guys, but I'm looking from a different view here. He's got the 37 car up on the upper lane here, coming down the front stretch, and then looks like Bunn puts it in gear and rolls it forward here a little bit, rolls it down just as Wiley's coming to take an evasive action and try to get to the bottom of him, and Bunn just kind of rolls in front of him. So I don't think that was intentional. But then on the other hand, like I said, John, the yellow flag was out, and Wiley was carrying quite a bit of speed coming into contact with Bunn there, Tracy.
Yeah, I've got quite a few people there chewing the seat with their shorts there. JD coming bend to that, seeing a car crosswise in the track, especially still running at a pretty good clip as them cars were. You would think cautioned out, there's nobody to race, let's just get around to caution to find out where the spin is, that way we don't get involved.
You bet. Pit stop's pretty much underway, already done. Why don't we go ahead and step away? We'll take another commercial break. You're watching live, ETV Live, Gateway International Speedway, the RSN Team Racing Series. Hey, don't wander off. We'll be right back.
cowboy. Ain't no need to get the hammers out and tear it all up. What you need to do is get a hold of David Bass, DB Tech Services. Technology support offered at a price affordable to most churches, not-for-profits, and individual customers. I'll tell you what, David Bass, IT specialist, over 5 years at the corporate level. Hey man, computer maintenance, hardware and software upgrades. I'll tell you what, David Bass DB Tech Services, established specifically to provide lower cost options to churches and non-profit organizations. So put the hammer away, dude. Get a hold of David Bass, DB Tech Services, dbtechservice.com.
All right, and we are back live, the RSN Team Racing Series here on Wednesday night. Coming off of caution number 3 here, guys, lap 23, the 37 car of Jay Bunn, just spinning around, catching that banana peel, Tracy, and then sitting there in about the middle of the track as we go back to green here. Dan Wiley in that 78 machine just comes around and clips him.
Yeah, I tell you what, we're heading around in the track. It started there, JD. I didn't see too. It looked like I didn't really see how many people pitted, but I would think everybody would have gotten tired. That was a pretty decent run there, JD.
You bet. Jesse Racimus picking up that green flag, now 2 by 2. Kevin Brent's on the inside of Jesse Racimus. Racimus on the outside, trying to hang on to it. I'll tell you what, Kevin Brent's getting almost wicked loose in front of Racimus here. Still hanging on to the bottom. Racimus able to fight back on the top when we got a run for the lead up here, guys.
Yeah, I tell you, we got a great race for the lead out there. Tell you what, Jesse Racimus doing a great job on that high line. Takes away just a little. I think Jesse gets into the wall. The 84 gets in the back of him, but everybody keeps going straight. And that 4 makes it right through the center of that, JD, and keeps going.
Well, I tell you what, that might even be worth a second look, boys. I tell you what, Racimus getting almost sideways up here, banging into the wall, and then I tell you what, the oncoming traffic coming in behind him, they had nowhere to go. Is the 84? I think it's the 84. Somebody just got hard into the wall here, Tracy. I'm trying to pick it up here and find out who that was, but no caution coming out. It was a green car. I want to say it was 84. Chris Wilson hard into the wall, knocked him down to the inside wall, picking up a lot of smoke, and looks like Chris Wilson back out on the track. It's got to be him because he's all the way back here in 17th, Tracy.
Yeah, I'm taking a look back right now, JD, to see what was going on there. Oh, and see, Ben Bando got to the outside of him, JD. Had that spot. The 84, Chris Wilson, just pushed too far to the outside. Got in the side of him, did a great job saving that car, staying off the low wall, but lost a lot of time, JD.
You bet. And I'm back here in 12th position with Don Klein and Dave Hooten back here. Don Klein, he was running up there in the top 10 a little bit earlier before that caution came out, but he's mired back here. Probably had some damage to repair off of some wall hits or something. But Don Klein running all the way back here in 12th position, guys. Dave Hooten up on the outside of him, not letting him get too far in front. But Dave Hooten kind of stuck up here in this outside line. He's going to have to give it up to Klein here coming off turn 2.
Yeah, that really cost a lot of change up there in the front, JD. At the 77 of Jason Krause is looking under the 70 of Jesse Racimus. I'm thinking Jesse maybe took 2 tires stop there, JD, and it ain't going to take long for them tires to work up on them, John.
Yeah, you bet. Jesse Racimus all the way back to 9th position back here, guys, as the caution comes out again. Looks like Tom Pazinski, it may have been Tom Pazinski, guys. I'm not sure yet here. Try to cycle around in my monitor. Looks like, Tom Pazinski gets nailed from behind. Looks like an Iron Pig racing car. Tracy, can you get any more on it?
Yeah, JD, with the 78 of Chris Wilson, just seemed to get into that corner. Didn't notice a big checkup, but boy, tell you what, a lot of cars right in front of Tom Pazinski really had a checkup. I tell you, Tony Bolin was way down on them rumble strips entering that corner, and I tell you what, there's just a big checkup in that whole thing, and Chris Melton must not have seen it, was kind of maybe watching the 8 and got in the back of that 17, got him around, JD.
You bet. It looked like trying to run it back here in slow motion here a little bit as you know, you're absolutely right. 78 Chris Melton just doesn't have anywhere to go. He doesn't know what's going on all the way up in front of Plazinski up there. Tony Bowling all the way down on the rumble strips down here, so it had to have been in front of him. But big checkup as Plazinski gets plowed into by the 78 machine.
Yeah, I tell you what, another caution out here in Gateway, JD.
Yeah. I tell you what, it's been a rough night for these boys here at Gateway. Of course, you know, Tracy, even if you haven't been here before, if you just got a few laps under your belt, I mean, this track is so much like the Milwaukee Mile. It's only about a quarter mile longer. Almost the same shape, pretty much similar banking, really no banking to speak of, at least none that's going to give you any help in the turns. And, you know, it's just a matter of you got to stay off the throttle when you get into these turns and let that car rotate around. And I just don't see that happening with these guys, some of them.
It looks like some are just running it in deeper and then jumping on the brakes. But I'd like to say hi to Joe and looks like Jason Riddle hanging down there in the chat room, JD.
All right, Jason Riddle running for Elite Sim Racing. Tell you what, kicking back and enjoying the evening tonight. Chris Wilson, Ernie D'Alfonso, and Danny Gabaldon on the track here at Gateway for Elite tonight. So good evening, Jason Riddle. Good to see you watching the broadcast tonight.
Yeah, my guess that's going to be Joe DePino, the counselor, I think, hanging down there in the chat room, JD. That's who I think Joe is.
Yeah, you bet. And as I understand it, I think he spent some time in Sin City this past weekend. I believe he was out in the Las Vegas area. And, you know, I got busy over the weekend. Vegas is only about, 3.5 hours away from me. I could have hustled out there and spent some time with the counselor. But I'll tell you what, maybe we'll get the shot and do it again sometime. But, hey, you know what? Look who's out in front. Look at that number 4 machine. Dan White earned his way to the front here. 34 laps in the books here on this fourth restart, actually the fifth restart here. Larry Mulkin, Ernie D'Alfonso, Danny Gabal, and Hal Beardsworth making up your top 5 here. But I'll tell you what, Dan White just kind of watching, looking, seeing, checking things out. And I'll tell you what, the master Chromehorn himself out here in front of the pace car pulls off the track, heading down pit road, getting ready for the restart, Tracy.
Yeah, it should be a good restart. Jumble up the field again. Looks like a bunch of pit strategy coming out here again on this stop, and puts Dan White in the lead, and the 42 of Brent's back here in about 9th place, JD.
You bet, as we pick up the green flag here, and looking pretty decent all the way back. A lot of tire smoke coming off of that 42 Kevin Brent's. I think he got into the turn just a little bit too heavy here as Kevin Brent's coming alongside Dave Hooten here.
Yeah, Hooten got up in that outside wall, JD, and had to hold it up there. Tell you, there's that exit part of that corner. If your car is pushing or gets loose, you're just going to get up there and pound that wall. That's what Dave Hooten happened there, JD.
You know, as I'm cycling through these cars, I'm seeing a lot of right side damage, a lot of door dents on these cars, guys. And I'll tell you what, before we come racing here again, I got a funny feeling they may be replacing some bricks here in these on these outside walls. But 2x2 up here with Tony Bowling, Kevin Brent. Tony Bowling looking to make it out. Door slamming the 42 car coming into the turn here. Coming through turns 3 and 4 here, Tony Bowling door slams the 42 car, gets the run on him, and here comes 16 of Kyle Lent for Halls on Post, looking to do the same thing down here, followed Tony on through. Tell you what, Halls on Post looking to move up another notch here in the points and up a position this week, guys. But tell you what, having a good week at Milwaukee last Wednesday night.
Yeah, I tell you what, the 21 of Tony Bolton looking for his next car to get by is that 65 of Sean Brown. They touched Sean Brown around the 21, gets hit by the 16 and spun out. Big mess. Cars everywhere, JD.
You bet. Big wreck. 21 involved, and Jesse Racimus involved in that one. And I believe the 16 also involved in that one as well for Halls on Post, guys.
Yeah,
That's
16 more to go,
See if
John.
we can cue this up. It looks like Sean Brown got loose on the outside here, guys. Going to come right across the nose of 21 and told him bowling, or he didn't know Tony had his nose in there, and just gets across the nose of him. The 16 of Kyle Lentz going to make hard contact with Sean Brown on the outside wall. 21 is going to take heavy damage. A lot of these cars are going to be pretty tore up here, guys.
Yeah, I'm trying to catch up on all the cars that are involved in that one, JD. There's even a car farther back. Looked like he got hit from behind and spun out there at the end there, JD. I'm not too sure who that was, but yeah, there's about 7 cars involved in that one.
Yeah, I'm just watching this domino effect one more time. Tony Bowling gets into the back of Sean Brown, and then Kyle Lent gets into the back of the 21. The 42 car comes along and plows into the back of the 21, and then the 70 of Jesse Racine is going to give well, I don't know who that is, but I'll tell you what, you talk about a domino action, and of course that just puts them all over the track. But I'll tell you what, tough night here at Gateway, boys.
Yeah, the 77 of Jason Krause was also involved. That way in the back of the pack, got hit in the back, but then that spun him right in front of that 55 of Dwayne Hall. Not too sure if Dwayne Hall got any damage in that, but the 55 was also got caught up on that way towards the back of the field, JD.
Hey, but tough night here at Gateway International Speedway. I'll tell you what, why don't we go ahead and take a commercial break, and we'll bring you the action live, and you won't miss a thing. Just keep your eye on the little screen down there in the corner. So RSN Team Racing Series here on Wednesday night. Don't wander off. We'll be right back.
We're going to schedule sand or air impacting to the outside of the cabin to provide the counterweight that will act as our balance.
No, your picture hasn't came up, JD.
Then, of course, we'll install doors and left-hand windows.
And we got the green flag as we head down the front stretch, getting a restart again here at Gateway Speedway.
All right, then Larry Malkin picking up that green flag. Don Klein, Jay Bunn, Brian Pace, Tom Plazinski, your top 5 here on this restart. And we apologize for the technical difficulty here. This is something new that we're trying out here with ETV Live. Give you a shot at the broadcasters from a live image here, but of course, it looks like we do have some work to do here. But I'll tell you what, 41 laps in the books here at Gateway tonight, and littered with our issues. The last one happening on lap 39. 65 car gets plowed into by the 21 as the caution comes out again, Tracy.
Yeah, I see we got another caution coming out. It looks like the 33, Jerry Hinkle, is involved, guys.
Yeah, and caught a glimpse of Jesse Racimus heading to the barn, or heading behind the wall here too. I don't know if that was him or not, but you said it was a 33 car, Tracy?
Yeah, the 33 car. Looks like he come out of the corner and maybe got a little loose. 65 was trying to get under him, just got into that left rear corner, guys, and spun the 33 out.
Copy that, and bring it back up here on my monitor. And yeah, it looks like the 33 car just yeah. I don't know if the 33 car got loose here or whoever was behind him here, the 65 car, just a little bit too much speed going into the turn here. Unfortunate for that 33 car, Jerry Hinkle. That's about, I think that's the second one he was involved in. He was involved in one on lap 8, guys, with the 17 and the 98, but Jerry Hinkle having a rough night here, too.
Yeah, it looks like in the last 5 laps, we've had quite a few cars drop out of the race there, JD. The first car drop out was at 78 of Chris Melton. Then 42 of Kevin Brent, the car that was leading the most laps. And then finished in 24th, who did not finish at 73 of Dan Wiley. And now the 23 of Jeffrey Siemens, who pulled his car behind the wall, too, JD.
You've got a tough night here at Gateway International Raceway for the RSN Wednesday Night Team Racing Series, guys. Working caution number 6, I believe this is, Tracy.
Yep, and that pretty much takes the whole team of Iron Pig Racing is parked behind the wall, JD.
The pigs are in the kennel.
Yeah, the pigs are in the pig pen, I guess. I'll tell you what, Iron Pig Racing, you know, up in the top 5 in the points, sitting there in third. They're 39 points behind Elite Sim Racing. I'll tell you what, had a rough time of it last week, even rougher time this week. They slipped down one notch, but of course, Iron Pigs, you know, getting a couple of penalties there from Milwaukee last week. That didn't help at all. But I'll tell you what, I'm sure there'll be a team meeting tonight. Jesse Racimus for MTCO Racing also putting his car on the hauler and calling it a night. I want to bring you up to speed for the next couple of broadcasts here. And I'll tell you what, you don't want to miss ETV on Friday night. They usually pick a random race on the iRacing side of the house, usually the B cars, I believe, John Westling. And you want to catch that live at 9 o'clock Eastern, ETV live on Friday nights. And then the following Monday, you want to catch the Halls on Post Monday Night Madness. And they're going to be at Dover, or at Talladega Super Speedway, guys. I'll tell you what, some Super Speedway action coming our way. And then Tuesday night, the trucks, the True Gravity trucks, they'll be in Chicago. And then Talladega for the Wednesday night RSN Team Racing Series on the 26th. So you don't want to miss that. Talladega, then Chicago on Tuesday, Talladega again on Wednesday night. As we get ready to take the green flag for about the 10th or 11th time here, guys.
Yeah, you got 27 of Larry Mulligan getting the lead, JD, with the 52 of Don Klein, and that 37 of Jay Bund, who got caught up in a incident real early in this race, got his way back forward. It's the 17 also of Tom Pazinski, followed by that fast 00 of Ben Bando.
You bet, and looks like Pazinski might be having some electrical issues here too, as he just kind of disappeared there for a minute, but he's alongside on the outside of the 00. Ben Bando qualifying in for the house team, almost clips him coming off the turn. Bando looking to get toward the front here, got side by side with Jay Bunn here going down the front stretch, going into turn 1, guys. Bando putting the pressure on, looking to get up towards the front too, as he gets slammed into by the 37. Caution coming out behind him. Caution comes out behind Bando and Bunn. Bando and Bunn making contact up there in the front, but the caution came out behind him. It's like the 77 of Jason Krause guys bringing out this caution. We'll have to see if we can't roll it back here. Looks like he might have had, I don't know if he had some help here, John, or whether he just found that banana peel like everybody else. Here in the 16 car of Kyle Lent might have had something to do with it too.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking back here, JD. It looks like the 47 of possibly Roger Hagan might have got in the back of that 16, guys.
There wasn't nobody. He got 16 of Kyle Lynn got loose all on his own here, guys. He coming into the corner. There's no one even near him. I mean, it looks like maybe his brake bias was set too high or something. I mean, I didn't see a car even around him when he started to spin.
Wow,
Yeah, you're right. Is taking a look in the slow motion here. Kyle Lent just gets. I can't tell who that is. It's a green car up there. I want to say that's Chris Wilson, the '84 car up there. I don't know if he got into him or not, but Lent just can't hang on to it in the turn. The banana peel comes out and goes for a ride. And of course, the rest of them behind him looking to get into the turn, getting off the throttle, and just don't have any place to go as the 16 car slides up the track.
Yeah, the rough night continues here, JD. I think it's just a rough week here lately. Man, I tell you, the cautions have been plaguing us here in the last few races. Hopefully when we get Talladega, very good chance of Talladega. Green flag run through the whole race, JD.
Yeah, it's starting to remind me of some of them Sim Factory Series races we covered, Tracy, JD.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, the number of cautions coming out here tonight, I believe that's number 7. Tracy, for tonight. And we were at another race here about a week ago. I think it was Kansas, and we got out of there with 8 cautions. I believe that was a Monday night race with the Hold On Post group. So you know what, the Gremlins are planted here at Gateway here tonight too. Either that or at the full moon.
Yeah, JD, I believe that last track we hit, we had issues with Monday night at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Just a night of nothing but cautions that went on there too, JD.
Yeah, that's what it was, Charlotte Motor Speedway. And I'll tell you what, unusual for these boys to run the caution flag up this many times. But I'll tell you what, why don't we go ahead and we'll step away and take another break here. You won't miss a thing. Keep your eye on that little screen down there on the lower left, and we'll bring you all the action live. And you're watching live, ETV Live, the RSN Team Racing Series from Gateway International Speedway. We'll be right back. All right, and we are back live, the RSN Team Racing Series here at Gateway Speedway. Tracy, 51 laps into in the books already here, 125 lap race, and I'll tell you what, working caution number 7, coming out on lap 48 with the 16 Kyle Lent going around, and of course causing a big melee behind him. But tough night here for these boys at Gateway.
Yeah, I tell you what, here we are hitting them short runs, not even getting 7 laps in, which kind of explains practice. It seemed like that's what mostly was happening. Is most guys are getting about 7 to 10 laps in, parking it, getting about 7 to 10 laps in again and parking it. So hopefully these guys will calm down, take a little easier on each other, and let things just sort out here for a little while, JD.
You bet, as my helicopter goes flying by here, ready to pick me up after the race. But Don Klein going to pick the green flag up this time. Larry Mulligan, Ben Bando working hard to get up front. Jay Bunn and Tom Pazinski, your top 5 here. Dan White, tell you what, Dan White occupied the lead up here for just a little bit, but that number 4 machine qualifying in tonight for the house team, Tracy. Dan White having his issues here tonight too.
Yeah, I tell you, he's doing all right. Got a good handling car. I don't see Dan get caught up in any of the crashes. He's just been put kind of back there towards in the field a little farther due to pit strategy. But we'll have to see how that comes out on the end here. I don't really see this track ever being a two-tire stop, but you got quite a few guys who gave it a try, JD. Has a 37 underneath that 8 of Dave Hooten, a little door slamming going on there. But everybody seems to be able to hit down the straight as a 4 of Dan White. Look on the outside of the 17, JD.
Yeah, getting kind of crowded up here at the top is the 21 back here a little bit in 12th position, trying to get past the 22, Frankie Samanto for Dragon Motorsports. You know, Dragon Motorsports putting on a pretty good show for the last couple of weeks, but usually towards the end of the race find themselves in a little bit of trouble. Dragon Motorsports kind of stagnated in the 4th position there in the RSN Team Series standings, but I'll tell you what, the boys are looking pretty good tonight, trying to keep their machines clean and keep them pointed forward out here. But I'll tell you what, up here with Danny Gabaldon in 11th position, Tony Bowling, Chris Wilson in the 84 machine up here in 9th place. I'll tell you what, a gaggle of cars up here are looking to move around here. 54 laps in the books, Tracy, and you'd think this is lap 120.
Yeah, I tell you, they're racing pretty hard for these few spots they're getting. As the 3 of Hal Beard was able to get underneath that 24 of Ernie Diofondo, and Ernie was trying to get underneath that 17. Tell you what, it's really tough to concentrate on the person in front of you when you got people behind you just kind of all over you, and you never know, you're going to try to make a move and somebody's going to be there already. So really difficult time keeping an eye on both ends, JD.
Tom Plazinski for MTCO Team Racing Series. I'll tell you what, Tom looking to keep almost going 3 wide here as Hal Birdsworth comes alongside. Tom into the wall. Jay Bunn watching that action out in front of him. I'll tell you what, Tom Plazinski trying to move that 17 machine forward. His teammate tonight, Jesse the wall banging Racines, he decided to pull it behind the wall and put it on the hauler and head for the barn, Tracy. But I'll tell you what, Jay Bunn watching all this action out in front of him back here in 7th place.
Yeah, I'm taking a look back here, JD. The Kyle Lind car is damaged heading down pit road with a flat tire. I'm going to go back here and check and find out exactly what happened to him here.
All right, and I'll tell you what, I want to remind everybody again about the ePlay website, etv-eplay.net. I'll tell you what, you want to watch these races again, get over there, get signed up, and you can watch the races here from ETV Live. And I'll tell you, John Westling, producer for ETV Live, he's told me before there's something in the neighborhood of about 400 broadcasts that they've done. And, of course, the intent is to get them all up on that website so that they're all viewable by the racing public, or, at least people who enjoy the auto racing sports. So I'll tell you what, etv-eplay.net, get over there and have some fun. And you can also make comments on the videos too, Tracy.
I tell you what, JD, these guys are out here racing like these are the last few laps of the race. I just witnessed just all kind of beating and banging, guys leaning on each other, drafting each other down the straightaway, just kind of pounding into each other here for back here in about 8th and 9th spot with the 22 and the Tony Bowling car and Jay Bunn. But I took a look back on that 16 as we got a car around. Looks like 17 of Tom Plazinski, JD.
Yeah, it looks like 17 car Tom Plazinski biting the bullet here. See if we can't roll this thing backwards. And I don't know if Tom had any help or not. He's been having a hard time all night tonight, guys, in that 17 car. But looks like he might have had a little bit of help from Chris Wilson, John. Chris Wilson going into the corner here. Looks like Tom might have slipped up just a little bit, or came down a little bit. I can't really tell, but maybe you can get a better angle on it on the replay.
And Tom gets really loose and comes right across the nose of Chris Wilson. Nothing Chris could have done about that one. I mean, he just dove right across the nose of Chris Wilson. Hard licking the inside wall of that 17 of Tom Plazinski.
I'll tell you what, Tom Plazinski having a rough night tonight here at Gateway, Tracy. Been kind of keeping an eye on him, and I've seen him get a little bit out of shape coming off these turns, and I'll tell you what, that 17 machine kind of tore up now.
Yeah, Tom has been caught up in a few things, but going back to 16 of Kyle Lent, not too sure what happened. It looked like he had a checkup coming off of 4 there, JD, and he checked up and somebody got in the back of him, turned him to the inside wall, hit the inside wall hard, which shot him right back to that outside wall and took a lot of damage on both sides of his car, JD.
I'll tell you what, 8 cautions here at Gateway, Tracy. This is really unusual for these guys. 125 lap race here. It's a short track racing, 1.25 mile track, not a whole lot of help in the turns. Banking is anywhere from 9 to 11 degrees, so really insignificant. I think they probably just put that in there for drainage. But tough night here at Gateway, boys, and I'll tell you what, why don't we go ahead and step away and take a commercial break. You're watching live, ETV Live. It's the only choice, cowboy. Gateway International Speedway, the RSN Team Racing Series. Don't wander off. We'll be right back.
Gorilla Customs manufactures cockpit simulation controls and performance computers that are innovative and at the highest level of design and application standard. They work hand in hand with professionals throughout real-world racing to provide technology and fabrication industry's highest level of unmatched quality. Made in the USA, people. Check them out today. Your place for your highest gaming simulation standard, www.gorillacustoms.com.
All right, and we are back live, Gateway International Speedway, and I'll tell you what, it's been a tough night here for these boys, working off caution number 8. It happened on about lap 60, the 17 car. Tom Plazinski involved in that one. Chris Wilson helped him around just a little bit. Tom Plazinski just basically losing it, and of course the 84 machine, Chris Wilson for Elite Sim Racing, really had nowhere to go, Tracy, and that kind of helped Tom Plazinski around there a little bit. But I'll tell you what, tough night here at Gateway.
I tell you what, maybe we need to redo the intro of this race. Welcome to Gateway Enduro Race to see who's actually going to finish this race with their car in one piece, JD.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, new leader out here in the front, 98 machine, Kevin Frank's going to pick up the green flag. No, it looks like he's coming down pit road. He's going to give it up and believe it's going to turn it over to Don Klein. Don Klein fighting back hard about the last 15, 20 laps and trying to get up here in front. Don Klein looking down the list here, trying to find out where he started. I believe he started somewhere near the back, but had to pretty much race his way all the way up towards the front.
And you got them 2 house team cars right behind them, JD. You got the 00 Ben Bando and also that 4 of Dan White.
Yeah, you bet. And Hal Beardsworth making his way to the top 5 too. Larry Mulliken for Dragon Motorsports. Larry Mulliken signing on with the team here just this season. So I'll tell you what, 63 laps in the book. So we'll call it the halfway point or so. And this is the time of the race when Tracy, you and I really start going down through and seeing whose team. Looks like they might be coming out the winner tonight. Kind of tough to do tonight here at Gateway, but so far, I want to say Dragon Motorsports are looking pretty good tonight. The 27 machine of Larry Mulliken up there in 4th. Frankie Samato rolling in 7th. 2 of them up there in the top 10.
Yeah, that's who I'd say looks like pretty good at the moment, JD. But if that house team had a 3rd car, they'd be looking really, really good running in 2nd and 3rd there as we're getting ready to hit green.
You bet. And I'll tell you what, Elite Sim Racing's got a couple of cars up here in the top 10 as well. That'll be Chris Wilson and Ernie D'Alfonso as we get the green flag here one more time.
Yeah, I tell you what, they're looking pretty good. Everybody's nose to tail heading around here, JD. Maybe they all said, look, hey guys, let's take it easy. We're already caution 8. Let's get this racing. We're not only halfway. As Jay Bunn a little high in the corner, and the 24 of Ernie Diofondo was able to be underneath him, JD.
Yeah, Jay Bunn having his issues tonight too. He was involved in a couple of cautions. One on lap 23, and I don't recall the other one. I think it was lap 2, right there at the beginning of the race. But Jay Bunn rolling around here for MTCO team racing team. His partner Jesse Racimus gave it up, had to put his car in the hauler and head for the barn, calling it a night. But Dwayne Hall getting past Jay Bunn down here for 10th, guys.
Yeah, I'm checking back here, see what kind of racing's happened. Date of, looks like we got a car smoking up in front of us, JD. I'm not too sure what's going on. Looks like we got a car with a lot of damage. Heading the corner, tire smoking. Guys are still racing pretty hard. As 16, he gets around that 77, JD.
Was it, did you find out who that was?
I'm taking a look.
How Beardworth I seen a wall, guys. It looks like he just got loose coming off that corner. I don't see any help by anybody. He just gets wicked loose, nose it in the wall, right in front of poor Chris Wilson. Hal Beardworth on 2 wheels here. Chris Wilson goes inside. He avoids that completely, but Hal Beardworth's in trouble.
Wow, unbelievable. I tell you what, looking down through the teams here once again, Hall's on post, 2 cars in the top 10. That would be Dwayne Hall sitting in 10th, and then Tony Bowling, 2 cars in front of him, sitting in 7th position up here. And Kyle Lent, the 3rd driver for Hall's on post, unfortunately being shown a lap down. And looks like the timing comes around again. He may be the first car a lap down, Tracy, so if the lucky dog comes out, he will get the lucky dog and be able to get back on the lead lap. But Hall's on post, Kyle Lent running all the way back here in 21st.
Yeah, him and looks like the 17 the top position here, both the 2 cars fighting for the lap down position. But I tell you what, guys are still racing pretty hard out there, especially in that backpack. It looks like Ben Bando got in the back of that 52 a little bit as the 4 gets on the outside of him, JD.
Yeah, I tell you what, pretty tough racing up here in the front is Ben Bando trying to get up there to the front. But I tell you what, he's got the master of them all right out there in front of him. That's going to be Dan White cruising around behind Don Klein. Don Klein putting on a pretty good show here for Crossed Up Motorsports. And Crossed Up Motorsports suffering from a pretty healthy penalty from last week. I believe they got 10 points removed from their team. But Crossed Up looking to try to recover and move it up a notch in the standings here. But I'll tell you what, Hall's on post and Dragon Motorsports so far are the 2 teams that I see working pretty hard. Of course, along with the Crossed Up Motorsports, Don Klein's teammate Hal Beardworth up here in the top 5. So we've got a number of them, a number of teams with a couple of cars in the top 10 here, Tracy.
Yeah, and look who's coming forward now, that 84 of Chris Wilson, working his way up there in that. He's in that top 5 position right now, JD. Watching these guys, look like the 52 and also that 4 of Dan White starting to push a little bit in the corner as Ben Bando. He's trying to take a look underneath the 4, but it didn't have no speed to get up underneath him, JD.
You bet. And I'll tell you what, let's go over the schedule one more time here. Friday night, iRacing night for ETV. I don't know what track or where they'll be, but usually John Wessling, he'll pick up a random race. I believe it's in the B cars over there at iRacing. So tune in on Friday nights here on ETV Live and catch some Friday night racing. And then on Monday night, the Halls on Post boys, they'll be in Talladega, Tracy. And then on Tuesday night, the True Gravity Truck Racing Series. I tell you what, if you haven't caught one of those races yet, you need to check that out. Awesome racing from True Gravity Arts Truck Races, Tuesday night at 9 o'clock Eastern. And then back to Talladega on Wednesday night, the 26th, for the RSN Team Racing Series. As the caution comes out again, guys. Caution number 9, I believe, coming out. Sean Brown this time. I'm picking up here. See if I can't roll this one back in my monitor. Sean Brown might have had some help here coming out of the turn here. Looks like it's like a little contact with the apron, John, and just spins it around. And of course, like always, like we've been seeing all night, somebody behind him can't get it wound up and get out of the way in time, and just slams into the back.
And Sean Brown's had a rough night, like Hal Berger's had a rough night, guys. And it seems like you spin the car here, and there's just no way you're not going to get hit by multiple cars before you get turned back around.
Got hit by 3 cars. Both rear tires, I think, are blown out on that car, guys. He can't even barely get moving back down that front straightaway. Really, really having a hard time, guys.
Yeah, I think that was Brian Pace. Brian Pace caught him first, and then might have been Jay Bunn got him. Well, no, actually it was I want to say Roger Haygood might have gotten a piece of that 65 car too, guys. Yeah,
also like the 28.
In fact, it looked like Roger Haygood might have taken quite a bit of damage from a front end hit to the 65 bouncing off the wall. But tough night here at Gateway, Tracy.
Yep, put 2 more cars back up on the haulers, headed for the barn. That would be your 28 of Howard Pittman. He got caught up in that crash. Got into that 65 really hard on the inside wall. And also Sean Brown, way too much damage. Had to tow that car off the track. And tell you what, that is number 6 car or DNF tonight, guys.
You bet. Howard Pittman, Sean Brown, Justin Racimus, Dan Wiley, Kevin Branson, Chris Melton calling it a night here, guys. I'll tell you what, on the haulers and headed for the barn here from the RSN Team Racing Series. But rough night here at Gateway, so I'll tell you what, working caution number 9. We're going to go ahead and step away. We'll take a commercial break. You won't miss a thing. Keep your eyes peeled to that little screen down there on the left as we pay some bills here. The RSN Team Racing Series from Gateway. We'll be right back.
Whoa there, cowboy. Ain't no need to get the hammers out and tear it all up. What you need to do is get a hold of David Bass, DB Tech Services. Technology support offered at a price affordable to most churches, not-for-profits, and individual customers. I'll tell you what, David Bass, IT specialist, over 5 years at the corporate level. Hey, man, computer maintenance, hardware and software upgrades. I'll tell you what, David Bass, DB Tech Services, established specifically to provide lower-cost options to churches and nonprofit organizations. So put the hammer away, dude. Get a hold of David Bass. DB Tech Services, dbtechservice.com.
All right, and we are back live here at Gateway International Speedway, the RSN Team Racing Series here on Wednesday night. And Tracy, Jerry Hinkle going to pick up the green flag this time for ETV Live. I'll tell you what, ETV Live team, Hinkle, Pittman, and Pace out on the track tonight, up one position in the standings, sitting there in the middle of the pack in 5th. And I'll tell you what, this is the first time we've seen that 33 car out in front of anything for quite some time.
That ain't what happened, though, JD. Don Klein beat them all off pit road, end of the line, going all the way to the tail.
Oh, rough.
Oh, I tell you what, it's been a tough night all the way around. Jerry Hinkle picking up the green flag this time around. Ben Bando up on the outside, going to try to get the early jump on him going in here into turn 1 as Hinkle just gives it up, boys. I know what that's all about. Jerry Hinkle, he likes to get out there and collect them bonus points, but I'll tell you what, Hinkle down here on the bottom, he's just letting them all go past him here as he just keeps on slipping backwards. Ben Bando, now your leader here at Gateway, qualified in tonight for the house team as Larry Mulligan for Dragon Motorsports taking the 2nd position. Tony Bowling, Chris Wilson, Frankie Samanto, the other Dragon Motorsports car, out there behind him, guys.
Yeah, I'm taking a look at the 52, Don Klein, being that he was our leader last time, just trying to see how aggressive it is to try to get back towards the front. He's made quite a few spots, as he actually made it 3 wide heading down that front stretch, JD, to get by 2 cars, and now he's underneath that 98 of Kevin Franks, just trying to get one more spot.
You bet. And here's a rundown. You got Dragon Motorsports with 3 cars in the top 10. You've got Tony Bowling, he hauls on post. His teammate Dwayne Hall sitting back here in 6th. That's 2 for hauls on post in the top 10. And checking even further, Chris Wilson. I'll tell you what, Chris Wilson been putting up a fight all night long for Elite Sim Racing. His teammate Ernie D'Alfonso sitting back here in 8th position. So Elite and Danny Gabaldon back here for Elite. There's a couple of teams, Tracy, with 3 cars up here in the top 10, and this is what it's all about.
Yeah, I tell you what, but it's not those 2 top teams in the standings that have all the cars. The one team that does is that Elite Sim Racing, but you got Halls and Posts working. They've got 2 of their cars up there, but I tell you what, they really need that 3rd car there, but great job by Dragon Motorsports getting their all 3 cars in the top 10 now, JD.
You bet. And I know Wendy Bernard, team owner for Dragon Motorsports, she likes to gather up her little dragons and get back to the Dragons lair, and they do have some team meetings, and they work strategy. I know she's sitting there with a spreadsheet on her computer in each lap when these boys pit, and she keeps pretty good records of what's going on with their cars out here on the track. I don't know of too many team owners that do that here on the RSN Team Racing Series here, but I'll tell you what, 81 laps in the books, boys. About 44 more laps to go here at Gateway, and you got something, Tracy?
Yeah, I'm trying to check back here, JD. Some reason Dan White is almost a lap down. I think he is a lap down. I'm not too sure what happened, JD. I'm going to go back here and I'm going to take a look. Looks like that 4 of Dan White had to make a pit stop there just as race went green, JD.
Yeah, he's not quite a lap down, but I'll tell you what, Ben Bando can see him right there at the end of the straightaway here. So I'll tell you what, if Dan White wants to stay on the lead lap, he's going to have to put the hustle on. Ben Bando been putting on quite a show here, qualified in for the house team tonight. And I'll tell you what, he's been working hard to get that 00 machine up to the front. But you know what, the pressure is on because he's got Larry Mulligan. Now, Larry Mulligan, he could put up some pretty decent stats at pretty much any given track, Tracy. So Larry Mulligan working hard to get up there close to him. Of course, Tony Bowling, excellent statistics here. Good driver, and I'll tell you what, Tony Bowling looking to put some pressure on up here in the front, too.
Yeah, I tell you what, we got, looks like 42 laps to go, JD. That's quite a few laps. The way every time it seems like a pit stop, we got everything jumbled up there in the front on our top 10, but looks like, yeah, Tony Bowling getting out there and catching up to that 27 of Larry Mulligan. But I tell you what, they're all chasing that 00. Ben Bando's got a pretty decent lead on them. And Ben Bando, he's trying to chase down that 4. Going to try to put him a lap down if he can, JD.
Yeah, you bet. As that 4 car of Dan White just seems like it's getting closer and closer and closer to Ben Bando. But I'll tell you what, I know that Dan White, he doesn't look in his mirror. He just keeps it pointed forward and keeps the foot in the throttle. But I'll tell you what, first car a lap down, 17 car Tom Pazinski. I tell you, Tom's has his troubles tonight too. He's been involved in a couple of cautions. The last one coming out on lap 60. He was also involved in one on lap 8 and on lap 31 too. But for MTCO Racing Team, old Pazinski, he's out there struggling. But I tell you what, working hard to keep his car pointed forward on the track, Tracy.
Yeah, it looks like the 8 of Dave Hooten is having a little problems here, JD. He's lost a few spots here in the last couple laps. Don Klein just got around him. Also, that 62 of Danny Gabaldon got around him. To look at that 8 car starting to fall back there a little bit, JD.
We hadn't had enough laps here to even test the tires out to have any idea how long or how far these guys can go. We know we've got a 60 lap fuel window, but I'll tell you what, 9 cautions here at Gateway. We have no clue as to what kind of condition these tires are in. And we just haven't been able to have a run long enough to come up with that kind of information yet. So kind of difficult to determine what might be going on with that number 8 machine for Dragon Motorsports. But I know the orders from team owner, crew chief, are that if you get up inside the top 10, just hey, you know what? You're in the top 10. don't create any problems. If you can get one in the next 5 or 6 laps, cool. If not, then work on staying in the top 10. So I'm sure that's what's going through Dave Hooten's mind right now. Is Wendy Merard probably talking to him on team radio? I'm sure, Tracy.
Yeah, I tell you, the 62 of Danny Baldwin seems to have a pretty good car here. Car must be coming in right about now. He worked his way around that 24 of Ernie D'Alfonso. Ernie's got that 52 of Don Klein all over the back end of him. Don is on the inside of 24, heading into the corner. JD taking over that position.
You bet. It looks like the 24 car, Ernie D'Alfonso, just kind of backing out of the throttle just a little bit early here, and not to cause any problems, and let that 52 machine get on by him here. But I'll tell you what, once again, here's what it's all about. It's all about team racing here and where your team finishes on the grid. And, of course, the objective here is to get as many cars on your team as far forward as possible when you cross that start-finish line at the end and collect that checkered flag. And so that's what we kind of keep track on here towards the end of the race, to try to determine which team is going to be collecting the points for the night. But I'll tell you what, it can be a toss-up on any given night here on Wednesday nights, Tracy. But, Elite Sim Racing, they've got a shot. Dragon Motorsports has a shot at it. And Hall's on Post working hard for a shot here, too, at Gateway.
Racing seems to have, Team Elite Sim Racing seems to have that magical golden horseshoe somewhere where they're keeping it hidden from everybody else. Always seems to rise to the top during these teams' races, even if they have a rough time. Starting at the beginning as a 84 Chris Wilson, all over the back of the 21, a Tony Bone. Looked like he maybe possibly got his nose under him as they head on the start-finish line. Look for that 84 to give you on the bottom side of the 21 and possibly take that spot, JD.
And a caution coming out for the 10th time here on the track is going to be the 37 car of Jay Bunn, guys. We'll roll it back here on my special little monitor here where the cameras suck and see if we can't figure out what happened to the 37 machine. Looks like it might have been the banana peel again, John. I'll tell you what, who brought the bananas to Gateway tonight?
Like they're all having trouble. I mean, it looks like they're just overdriving these cars, getting that right rear hot. As Jay Bunn's going to come out of the corner once again and just get loose, coming out of turn 4 there, right in front of the straightaway. And it don't seem like they keep that car from spinning all the way around. It seems like it goes all the way left and then wants to go all the way right. Jay Bunn, he puts that car in the hauler, guys.
Yeah, you bet. Pull it behind the wall, put it up on a hauler, and like we say here on ETV, Tracy Robinson.
Headed for the barn.
Yeehaw. I'll tell you what, 92 laps in the books here. You know what, 1.25 mile track. We just came from a mile track over at Milwaukee last week, and you'd think these guys would have been a little more prepared for Gateway. Similar track, similar banking, similar, it's much the same thing here. And I'll tell you what, we're just in a different state, of course, here in Madison, Illinois. But a tough night for these guys. 10 cautions here. And you know what? It just never seems to end.
No, it looks like we got... it's going to have just a little over 30 laps to go to finish this race, too, JD. Looks like Larry Mulligan pitted really deep into his box. He's going to have a lot of issues getting out of his pit box with the 16 straight in front of him, no room to turn out. Looks like Ben Bando is going to win, and it's going to be Chris Wilson, 27 Larry Mulligan, and looks like 21 of Tony Bolin.
You bet. Caution number 10 coming out on lap 92, 37 car of Jay Bunn going around. But I'll tell you what, that's time for us to step away and take a real quick commercial break. We'll keep the action rolling here. You just keep your eye on that little screen down on the left as we bring you some picture-in-picture action here from ETV Live. The RSN Team Racing Series from Gateway International Speedway. Don't wander off, cowboy. We'll be right back.
You're You're watching ETV Live, the leader in sim broadcasting. The very best in the business brings you the highest in broadcast quality and archived high-def replays for you to watch anytime for free. Superior audio and exclusive instant replays by the ETV ePlay machine. Producer John Wessling has talented commentators like the Cowboy, J.D. Webb, Tracy Flip Robinson on Monday and Wednesday nights, David Big Mouth Bass, and Jesse the Outlaw James calling the action on Tuesday nights, and don't miss the ETV Live Band. Broadcasting weekly from RaceSimNation.net. Catch the Halls on Post Monday night series, True Gravity Truck Races on Tuesday nights, and the infamous Team Series on Wednesday nights at 8:50 p.m. Eastern. Have some fun with the broadcast team in the ETV chat room. Hey, and listen to a live race canter. It's all at RaceSimNation.net on the live feed link. Remember, ETV Live, the leader in sim broadcasting. It's the only choice, cowboy.
All right, and we are back live. Gateway International Speedway, the RSN Team Racing Series. I'll tell you, it's been a tough night here. 10 cautions. Last one coming out here on lap 92, 37 car of Jay Bunn for MTCO.com racing team, bringing that one out. But Ben Bando got a good pit stop, was able to hold off Larry Mullican and Tony Bowling. Chris Wilson, Frankie Samato going to make up your top five as we get the one to go here. And I'll tell you what, looking down through the team effort here, Halls on Post looking pretty sharp here tonight on lap 95 here, Tracy. We've got Dwayne Hall sitting there. Actually, Tony Bowling will start out with him in third, Dwayne Hall in sixth, and then Kyle Lent getting that lap back and getting back towards the front, just sitting outside the top 10 here in 11th.
Yeah, right behind the lead sim racing 62, Danny Gabalda, and also that 24, Bernie Diofondo. They give that 16 a great chance to pass those two cars and put Halls and Post on the top of the podium for teams tonight, JD.
Hey, Tracy, I got a trivia question for you real quick before we take green.
Sure.
Which side is the Coyote from where you're sitting?
Which side is he from me? He's to the left of me.
Oh, which way would that be? Point with your finger. Wrong.
Didn't you see my arrow? It goes that way and comes back around. Yes, see, look at JD pointing at the Cowboy. There you go.
Right. All right, green flag. I'll tell you what, Ben Bando picking one up for tonight. Bando, Mullican, Tony Bowling, and Chris Wilson getting off to a pretty decent start up here. But I'll tell you what, Tony Bowling, he doesn't quit that easy either. He's getting all kinds of pressure on that 27 machine going into turn one. But single file all the way back. And I'll tell you what, 96 laps in the books here, 125 lap race at Gateway International Speedway tonight, guys, as Kevin Franks back here in 16th position takes the high line, but Brian Pace doesn't want to give the bottom up and sticks with it.
That looks like a pretty decent start here. It looks like Don Klein working his way down underneath. Let me see who that is there. Gets her underneath Hal Beardworth, take that spot, his own teammate. I tell you what, sometimes I don't think these teammates work together. But Don Klein, I'm sure, has a little bit of faster car than Hal does right now and takes over that position, JD.
You bet. And, back here, we talked about teacher-student here the last couple of days here. Dan White with number 8 of Dave Hooten here. White just went past Hooten. So Hooten giving up positions here for Dragon Motorsports. Hooten slipping back to 13th, guys. So I'll tell you what, something's up with the number 8 machine for sure. As teacher coach Dan White qualifying in for the house team tonight gets past him. And I'll tell you what, Dan White was up there in front for a little while, looking to try to get it back there before the end of the night.
Yeah, I'm checking back here to see how Kyle Lent's doing. Looks like he's not been able to keep up the pace with those two Elite Sim racing cars right at the moment, JD. Falling back a little ways, and tell you what, the 4 of Dan White just made a real aggressive move. Got underneath Kyle Lent going through that corner to take over that position, JD.
I'll tell you what, looks like about the only time you can really get around somebody is coming off the turns. Of course, that's pretty much the way it is with flat track, short track racing anyway. I think a lot of mistakes are made when you're trying to get the edge on somebody going into the turn, and that's not always the best thing to do on short track racing here, flat tracks. It's a whole lot better to try to stay on their bumper coming through the turn, get the run coming off on the inside, and get the position that way. But I don't know if that's what we're seeing here tonight, but or just loose conditions, or Tracy just driving them in so hard and spinning them out.
Just abusing that right rear tire and getting it hot and just losing them. As we're down to 25 laps to go, JD. Everybody's running pretty clean at the moment. I'm not seeing too much racing. Everybody's just working to try to get to positions to move up one. And I tell you, they're just following nose to tail up front. But I tell you, that 27, Larry Mulligan starting to push in the corners, giving some space for that 21 to look low, JD.
I'll tell you what, as far as team racing goes here, looks like the night might belong to Elite Sim Racing. Of course, Elite Sim Racing, they're at the top of the pile. They have been for quite some time. Of course, Elite Sim Racing finishing on the top in Season 3. But I'll tell you what, Ernie D'Alfonso, Danny Gabaldon, and Chris Wilson are putting on quite a show out here. And able to keep their cars up here in the top 10, Tracy, and that's what it's all about, team racing, team effort, and they're doing a pretty decent job of it tonight.
Yeah, they look like they're pretty clean cars, JD, getting caught up in any of those cautions we had, and Ernie and Danny seem to be pretty happy just following each other around the track. They've got a nice little spot there where they're not getting pressured from each end, JD.
Chris Wilson having a little bit of issues, I would say about midway through the race here tonight, and making contact with a couple of cars out there. But it looks like Chris Wilson able to get his crew chief squared away and perhaps make some changes on that car and make the handling a little bit better. But certainly looked like he was having some difficulty early on, but able to put it together now. Hell, he's up there in the top 5.
Yeah, and he's running pretty good. Doesn't seem like he's got quite the speed to hang out with those top 3 cars, but able to hold the position he's running, not getting a real lot of pressure from that 22 of Frankie Timano, but looked like he might have got loose there on one time and lost a little time on him, JD.
Yeah, you bet. And I'll tell you what, after 10 cautions here at the Gateway tonight in the team series, looks like, actually, it almost looks like they're taking it easy. Something we haven't seen from these boys for quite some time. Usually at about the 50 lap to go mark, Tracy, these boys usually come unglued, as Chris Wilson having a electrical issue, and of course now he's back in again. But I tell you what, usually about 50 laps to go or so is usually when we see these boys come unglued and let it all hang out, put another log on the fire. We're not seeing that here right now.
I think they got it all done within the first 60 laps, JD. But yeah, I'm sure they're going about as best they can. We only got 20 laps left in this race. And tell you, Ben Bando just staying out in front of that 27 Larry Mulligan, not really catching him or gaining too much space on him. Just seems to be riding up there, not wearing out his stuff, and letting them guys push their cars harder than he is, JD.
You bet. And I tell you what, Crossed Up Motorsports was looking pretty good here tonight too, but unfortunately Sean Brown, the other Crossed Up Motorsports car in that 65 machine, having to put it on the hauler for the night on lap 72. And that only going to leave Hal Beardsworth and Don Klein out here on the track for Crossed Up. Crossed Up looking to try to gain back what they lost in penalties, down a notch in the standings, guys, in 8th position. But I'll tell you what, certainly trying to move both those cars, Beardsworth and Klein, forward here just a little bit. At least we got both of them up here in the top 10, Tracy.
Yeah, I tell you, they're working pretty hard. It looks like Larry Mulligan is doing everything he can to catch up to that 00 Ben Bando. Seems like he's running his car a little harder than he was. He's gained some of that space on him, but you got to worry about, am I pushing too hard, possibly wear my tires without getting to him. But he's closed the gap a little bit. I'll tell you what, pulled away from that 21 of Tony Bowling and also the 84 of Chris Wilson, kind of falling back into the clutch of that 52 of Don Klein. He's been moving forward. Look for Diane to try to get around that 84 as soon as he can and see if he can't get up to them leaders, JD.
Yeah, I've been watching Bando going in and out of these turns here, and he gets a pretty good run coming off the turns. And I'll tell you what, he's got this thing down to a science because he gets his car just about a foot off of that white line down there going through the turn, able to get back in the throttle. Looks like just a little bit sooner than Mulligan. Mulligan able to catch a little bit of draft going down the straightaways, but tell you what, it looks like he might be giving it up a little bit in the turns here. Brando gets a good run coming off the turns.
Yeah, it looks like he's just slowing his cars down a little more and towards the middle of the corner. Gives him that better runoff. He lets Larry Mulligan, pull some gap on him. But I tell you, like I said, he just gets off that corner way better than Larry does, trying harder to get to him.
And I'll tell you what, you want to watch this race again, you can catch it over there at the ePlay site, etv-eplay.net. I'll tell you what, there is no better fun than sitting down and watching a handful of races here from ETV Live. And I'll tell you what, Cowboy, you get over there and you can comment on the races at the new site. And I'll tell you what, John Wessling, Sean Bickle working hard on that new etv-eplay.com or .net website. And looks real sharp. So get over there and check it out. Oh, Mulligan into the wall coming off turn 4 on the front stretch here, Tracy. That's going to set him back a couple of car lengths here as he tries to gather it back. Mulligan working hard to try to catch up to Bando here with just a few laps left.
Yeah, he knows there's less than 15 laps in this race. Got to do whatever he can to close some gap on him, JD. But yeah, it looked like it took a little wind out of his sail getting him that wall, which is probably going to get Tony Bolin cut up right up to the back of him. But I tell you, the 84 of Chris Wilson is really having to defend off that 52 of Don Klein. Looked like Don Klein gave Chris a little bit of a chrome horn there earlier, but didn't upset him too much. Was able to stay up in front of him, JD.
You bet. And the other Dragon Motorsports car, the 22, Frankie Samanto back here. Caution coming out on lap 112, guys, is Kyle Lent going around for hauls on post. Don't know if he had any help here. Let me see if I can't roll it back in my special little deal here and find out what happened to Kyle Lent. He looks like he's all alone for the most part here if I get up to the point where he spins. Don't think he had any help. Looks like it's all by himself, John. That banana peel just coming out one more time here for Kyle Lent.
Yeah, it seems like these guys are good for 25 or 30 laps, and then them tires must be going away, and these guys just lose it coming off the corners. And once again, Kyle Lent's going to go turn around hard lick on the inside wall with the front of the car, the spoiler, the front of the car, the spoiler. He took 3 or 4 good bangs on the inside wall.
Well, I'll tell you what, 11 cautions here, 125 lap race at 1.25 mile track, Tracy. And I'll tell you what, I think there'll be a lot of crew meetings tonight.
Yeah, what 20s, what caution, what 12th, 14th? I can't keep track of it anymore. Looks like we're in a little pit strategy there, JD. It looks like the 84 of Chris Wilson staying out. The 24 of Ernie Diofondo, he's going to stay out there. That puts Lead Sim Racing 1 and 2 for this. Looks like we're going to have probably right around 10 lap run, JD.
You bet. Will they or won't they hang out? Of course, the last caution coming out on lap 92, guys. So I tell you what, not a whole lot of laps in between, but we'll see what they can do with no tire changes on out there in front. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll go ahead and step away and take a commercial break right here. You're watching live ETV Live, Cowboy. That's the only choice. The leader in sim broadcasting, live from Gateway International Speedway with the RSN Team Racing Series. Don't wander off. We'll be right back. All right. We are back live at Gateway International Speedway, and Dan White, guys, I got a funny feeling that the radar gun got him, as we got the one to go. Dan White letting everybody go past him, so Dan White catching a ticket off of pit road, I'm sure. Chris Wilson, Ernie D'Alfonso staying out on that caution, Tracy. Will they have enough tire to get this thing done in the next 10 laps?
Oh, it's going to be tough because we got to figure out which cars all stop for tires, and I do believe you've got to start it right at about, oh man, I'm telling you, Larry Mulligan would be my first car with 4 tires out there, so a very good chance, but you got Ben Bando right on his bumper, and it's a possibility them 2 cars, several of them cars may only took 2, JD, so it's going to be pretty interesting restart here.
That was some pretty cool strategy, too. Chris Wilson, Ernie D'Alfonso both stayed out. Teammate Danny Gabaldon must have came in, either got fuel only or just right side tires.
Yeah, you bet. As we get ready to take the green flag one more time, 23 laps on those tires for Wilson and D'Alfonso, guys. So keep that in the back of your mind as we get the green flag. Back to racing here at Gateway International Speedway, but looks like it might be an elite sim racing night here as Bando up on the outside of the 27, Larry Mulligan looking to make something on the outside here. Mulligan hanging tight here on the bottom, going to give him a run down the front stretch here, making his car pretty wide here, taking the bottom as they go into the turn here. Mulligan's got to keep it down there close to that white line to keep from sliding up into Bando. Oh man, side by side coming off the turn as looks like Danny Gabaldon going to make it 3 wide here, guys. 3 wide going into turn 1.
Yeah,
I
thought better of that, JD.
Yeah, 2 by 2 with Gabaldon and Beardsworth, Mulligan and Bando back here, getting this thing sorted out. Bando finally gets past Mulligan up on the top here. Mulligan staying on the bottom here, trying to make it a run into the turn.
62 puts
3 wide, 3 wide coming off of turn 4. 3 wide coming off of turn 4. Bando making contact with the 62 on the outside, but everybody makes it through, guys.
And the 52 and 21 also made contact when Don Klein had to make it a maneuver down lower down there as everybody's fighting to try to get through there, JD. As it looked like we're trying to go 3 wide down that backstretch. As 55 of Dwayne Hall's working his way up, and also 22 of Frankie Simano. We got about 2 wide, 6 cars deep, JD.
You bet. And I'll tell you what, Ben Bando is looking for a way to get around that 27 car. Can't do it. Tried it on the inside. Tried it on the outside. Can't get it done. Looking on the inside of that 27 again here, coming down the front stretch. Blocks. Larry Mulligan puts the block on him coming down the front stretch here. I'll tell you what, Larry Mulligan trying to keep that car up there in the top 5. Contact with the number 3 on the outside. Come off of turn 2, guys.
Yeah, they're racing down there. You knew that Hal Beardsworth did not want to leave that bottom open. Car is pushing up, being on old tires as 27 Larry Mulligan has worked his way under him. Look for that 27. Oh, looks like 52 gets in the back, the double zero, and spins out the Ben Bando, guys.
Caution coming out on lap 119. 52 car gets in the back of Ben Bando, like Tracy said. I'll tell you what, these guys have been duking it out here about the last, from the last restart, Tracy. 3 wide coming off of turn 4 here just a couple laps ago.
Yeah, I tell you what, there's some crazy racing, John. You got the replay on what just happened there?
Almost looks like the 52 car might have got into the back of Ben Bando, the double zero.
Yeah, I can't tell if Ben Bando let off a little bit because they checked up. The 27 Larry Mulligan really checked up, but and the 52 of Don Klein's definitely going to make contact with that double zero car and send him to the outside wall. Danny Gabaldon's going to lose the most spots there. He checked up and he lost 2 or 3 spots here, all the way back to 11 spots.
Ooh, look like we're going to come into probably a green and white checkered possibly restart, JD. I'm not too sure how many laps we're going to have to go around in Pace Road as we're down to 5 laps to go.
Yeah, you bet. Caution coming out there on lap 120. So I don't know that we'll have enough for a green light checkered. We'll have to wait and see what the admins think about that. But I'll tell you what, 12 cautions here at Gateway. Unbelievable night for these guys. And I tell you what, some heavy duty racing in the last few laps at Gateway, guys.
Yeah, good battles, door banging, everybody trying to fill every single hole that's open on the track to try to make themselves get forward. Just hoping them tires will stick to the track and give them the acceleration off the corners. I'm guaranteed that's what we're going to see here on this restart too, JD.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, and you know, if you can see right there, there's my caution count right there. I'm running out of room at the bottom of my page here, so I got 2 columns worth of cautions going. This is getting a little ridiculous, boys.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun finish, JD. Tell you what, I'm surprised we didn't have a caution sooner than what we did out there, as many times as people were getting into each other in the exit of corners.
Hey, but I'll tell you what, we'll go ahead and stay right with the action here at Gateway and see if we can't get these final laps in the books here. And I'll tell you what, looks like I don't think it's going to be a green-white checkered here. We're going to show 3 laps to go here, possibly when we actually it might even be 2 laps to go here when we take the green, guys.
And you know that 24 car is called the defensive back, JD, because he's in the back of 84 trying to defend off all them guys trying to get by.
I'll tell you what, Larry Mulkin making that 27 machine to him for Dragon Motorsports about as wide as that track, trying to keep that 00 Ben Bando behind him there for a couple of laps. I'll tell you what, tempers do fly here in short track racing, so I got to think that Ben Bando and that 00 qualifying in for the house team tonight, just trying to make something happen. I'll tell you what, frustration has got to be chewing on him here just a little bit in those closing laps, but unfortunately caution coming out there on lap 121 with the 52 and a 00 getting into it, Tracy.
Yeah, you look for Ben Bando to try to make up every spot he can. And I tell you what, he's got a lot of cars in front of him just to get the best finish, because he's a competitor, and doesn't matter what happens, he's going to try to finish the best he can. And I'm trying to take a look at it. Looks like this is going to be our green-white checkered too, JD.
You bet, green-white checkered finish, and here's the rule on that. Okay, we get 1 shot here at the Nation, green-white checkered. And I'll tell you what, if the caution flies on that green flag lap, on that first lap, and caution comes out, then it's game over. They will finish behind the pace car under green flag, but they will finish behind the pace car. So they've got 1 shot on that green flag lap. And once the leader takes the white flag, Tracy, again, you got 1 shot at trying to do something. You've only got 1 green-white checkered. So I'll tell you what, they need to get it done on this first lap, caution-free, in order to pick up that white flag and be able to race it out for that last checkered flag lap.
And that's exactly what that 84 and 24 are hoping, that there'll be a caution behind them, and they won't have to race for very long to take this win tonight, JD.
Yeah, you bet. And I'll tell you what, Chris Wilson, Ernie D'Alfonso, the 27, Larry Mulkin, Hal Beardworth, Tony Bowling picking up the green flag on the restart. We got 1 shot only here, guys. Remember that if the caution flag flies on this lap, it will be game over, as Ernie D'Alfonso and Chris Wilson try to make their cars as wide as possible to keep Mulkin and Beardsworth and Tony Bowling from sneaking up there on the inside or the outside, Tracy.
I tell you right now, it's going to look like that Dragon Motorsports, if nothing happened, is going to actually be our team winners tonight, JD, with all 3 of their cars there in that top 10 real close together. It looks like the 27 got loose and got kind of up in there, and I don't know the caution come out, JD.
I have not heard the caution flag fly yet. As far as I know, we're still under green, guys. Still under green flag.
Goes from 3rd all the way to dead last, guys, in half a lap.
Still moving forward too, JD. He's just going back around.
You bet. And still green flag flying here, guys. Chris Wilson, Ernie D'Alfonso still out here in front. They're coming around to pick up the checkered flag here. Last time around, coming off of turn 4, and that will end the night. It'll be Chris Wilson, Ernie D'Alfonso, and Hal Beardsworth. Tony Bowling finishing 4th. Don Klein finishing 5th. And I'll tell you what, that's probably worth a second look. Go back and find out what happened to the 27 machine. Working hard to keep that car all the way up in the top 5 all night long, guys. Unbelievable. And I'll tell you what, 12 cautions here at Gateway is a little bit excessive. And I'll tell you what, these boys are just getting after it just a little bit too hard. And it's almost senseless, Tracy.
Yeah, they're a little too rough racing out there pretty much tonight, JD. That's pretty much what I've seen. But it's like you got some people checking up and just not giving them enough room and just being ready on them brakes to get into them tonight.
You bet. And it's the number 3, Hal Beardsworth, who gets into the back of Larry Mulliken and upsets that race. But I'll tell you what, that kind of nonsense is just that nonsense. I mean, the race is almost over. You got a couple of laps left to go. It is what it is. You are where you are. And, the 3-car had no possibility of getting around that 27 anyway. So, why race like that? Why put that kind of heat and pressure on everybody that's up front and cause that kind of a melee right there on the last lap? I think that's just a little ridiculous myself.
Yeah, it's like you're trying to give him as the old Intimidator would say, it was just trying to rattle his cage, but unfortunately on this track, it's not good to rattle a cage on this track because all it does end up with somebody spun around out there, JD.
You bet. Well, I catch my breath there. I just had let a little bit of a rant out there a little bit. But I'll tell you what, Tracy and I are working on a replay and rant show here that we're going to try to bring you on Saturday morning. But we'll have more about that a little bit later on. But Chris Wilson, Ernie D'Alfonso, and Hal Beardsworth are our winners tonight. We're going to go ahead and step away and get ready for the Halls on Post post-race show here at the RSN Team Racing Series. So, hey, don't go away. We'll be right back. All right, and we are back live, the Halls on post-race show here at Gateway International Speedway for the RSN Team Racing Series here on Wednesday night. Chris Wilson crossing the start-finish line, and I'll tell you what, picking up the trophy for the night. Chris, what a race tonight. Tell us about it from your perspective.
Yeah, it was a survival race tonight. It looked like, some of the good cars had some bad luck, and my team made the right call and stayed out. Got a 1-2 finish for East to West Racing and Elite Sim Racing. And I don't know, it feels good to make the right call for once. Most of the time I shoot myself in the foot and don't get the finish I deserve. Tonight I feel like I got a little better than what my car was, and happy to get a win tonight.
You bet. Well, it looks like it might be an elite sim racing night. Looks like all 3 cars finishing in the top 10 there, Chris. Danny Gabaldon bringing up the last line here, finishing in 10th. Ernie D'Alfonso finishing second right behind you. But I'll tell you what, 12 cautions here at Gateway, 1.25-mile track. We just came from Milwaukee last week, much of the same kind of a track, kind of a horseshoe, a paper clip with, tight turns on each end. But what was the difference between Milwaukee last week and tonight's race here at Gateway?
Hey, you got long straightaways. You got a little more banking here, and it gives you a little more comfort by having that banking. And I don't know. Like I say, I've seen it in the movies. That's all I've ever seen. This track was on TV or whatever. I didn't have any setup notes for this track, so we started from scratch. Didn't take any notes from any other tracks, and just started fresh and went with what felt good.
All right. Well, again, congratulations on the win tonight. And again, looks like it's going to be the elite sim racing night here. And any shout outs out there that you want to give?
I definitely going to give a shout out to my team owner, John Wesley, and appreciate all he does for us. Gives us a good car every week. Appreciate y'all in the booth, and give a big shout out to all my east to west teammates. We all had good cars tonight, and Jason Riddle didn't race with us tonight, but if he'd have been here, I'm sure he'd had a good run too. But all my boys done good tonight. Ernie D and Danny, they brought it home.
You bet. And again, congratulations. And Tracy Flip Robinson, I believe you're standing by with Ernie D'Alfonso.
Yeah, I caught up with Ernie down here, taking second tonight with his Elite Sim race car, putting them 1 and 2. Great job tonight, Ernie. How did you avoid all the cautions?
I tell you, I don't know. I guess I had a little bit of luck on my side there, Tracy. But you know, the team theme tonight was we just kept telling each other, just take it easy and just stay clean. And the end result took care of itself, and along with some good strategy there from Chris Wilson. So I'm really happy to finish second. I definitely don't feel I had a second place car.
And I know this is the first time we've run this track here at RSN. What did you think of it?
Actually, I'm surprised it was all the cautions. It seems like a pretty decent track and drivable, and we really didn't get that much seat time. Like Chris was saying, we started from scratch tonight, but I actually like the track. I know some people might not feel that way.
Yeah, I tell you, it made it a rough night for quite a few of them teams up. But you guys were able to withstand the carnage out there on the track tonight, there, Ernie. Great job with you and your team. Is there any thanks you'd like to give tonight?
Yeah, definitely. To you guys in the booth, I know you guys make a big sacrifice. You'd rather be out there racing, but you provide a good entertainment piece for all of us to enjoy. So thanks to you guys. Thanks to John Wessling for letting me be on the team. And thanks to my teammates. I got the best teammates out there.
All right, guys.
Congrats to Chris Wilson on that win. Sorry about that.
That's all right, Ernie. Tell you what, great job by tonight of taking second place out there. I'll throw it over to John, who caught up with the number 3 of Hal Beardsworth.
Sure have caught up to Hal Beardsworth. Another rough night, involved in a couple of early wrecks. We managed to get that car back up front. Other than a little mishap there with Larry Mulliken, I think Larry Mulliken stole every helmet he's got at you, Hal Beardsworth. But congratulations on your third place finish.
Thank you, John. I apologize to Larry. We were, 10 cars bumper to tail, and everybody's getting bumped in the last green-white checker. So, nothing intentional, but he had 4 fresh tires, he told me on the radio, and I didn't expect him a big check up there. But, the 2 cars in front of me, I saw Goodyear radials in their pit stall, and we were stuck with Hoosiers. I'm not sure what that's about, but I think that's why they beat me.
Well, Hal, as they say at Elite Sim Racing, all our cars are special match tires, I believe. Isn't that what you call it there, Chris Wilson? But, a great recovery tonight, Hal. Your car was pretty much demolished in that early wreck, and how'd you manage to bring it back through? Was it just a lot of damaged cars out there tonight? And what did you think of this Gateway track?
Well, the track, this is the first time we've been here, like everybody else said, and pretty much had to start from scratch on a setup. I started with a Phoenix setup, and a lot of guys use Milwaukee setups, and it's kind of flat. But we just we got loose coming off a Ford at one time and smacked the wall, and that's what did most of our damage. You just got to thank the pit crew for fixing it up, and we just kept on trucking. You just got to keep going to the end.
Hal, you and Don Klein, you seem to be the class of the field. That Sean Brown, he's always trailing behind. Maybe you guys can send him a chain one of these weeks and just drag that hunk of junk he's got every week behind you.
Well, I had a trailer hitch on the back of my car tonight, but he just couldn't get up to me to hook up to it.
Once again, congratulations, Hal, on your third place finish. Anybody want to get a shout out to? I'm sure you got anybody looking for a roof? I'm sure you got some kind of spot you can throw out there to sell some roofs, Hal Beardsworth.
Yeah, we have a winter discount, 10% off on architectural style shingles. So give me a holler if you need a roof on your house.
Al, just by chance, would you guys have? I got 6 inches of snow on my roof. Could you still put my shingles on, or?
Yeah, as soon as it melts.
There you go, race fans.
Come on.
We'll set it back up to you, JD.
I think I can invite Hal down here when we got a good 10 to 15 below day when they're actually still shingling in Minnesota.
I'll tell you what, Tracy, what a night here at Gateway. 12 cautions, a mile and a quarter track, a little unusual for these boys. I'll tell you what, it's either got to be the full moon or something going on, some kind of a virus or something getting around to everybody. But, 12 cautions here, but still all in all, Elite Sim Racing coming out on top again. But I'll tell you what, don't count out that Dragon Motorsports team. Looking sharp tonight, had all 3 cars up there in the top 10 up to the end of the race. But the Iron Pig Racing looking to come on strong too. And I'll tell you what, Cross Up Motorsports looking to get back what they lost from Milwaukee last week. Couldn't put it together this week, but I'll tell you what, I'm sure they'll be geared up for next week, the next week race. And I'll tell you what, that's going to happen at Talladega Super Speedway. That'll be on October 26th. But before then, Tracy, Talladega starts out on Monday night with the Halls on Post group, and of course you and I will be there. And then Tuesday night, you want to catch Jesse the Outlaw James, David the Big Mouth Bass at Chicagoland Speedway with the True Gravity Arts truck races. So with that, you know what? Any comments about tonight's race?
Just a rough night here at Gateway. The only comment I got about Talladega, that I kind of feel something coming on here before Monday, JD. I might have to not use my voice and just drive.
Tracy, one more time. Where's the coyote?
He's standing next to me somewhere.
Which way, Tracy?
There you go. You got it.
All right, a little bit different action here on ETV Live, but I'll tell you what, Tracy, we do have some people that we need to thank before we get out of here, don't we?
Yeah, we got a couple people we like to thank is True Gravity Art Design for designing the RSN website, MTCO Gaming Service for hosting the best sim around, NVG Web Hosting for Race Sim Nation website, Halls and Post for sponsoring the Halls and Post Monday Night Madness Series, ETV Live Chat, and also the Room for the Post-Race Show. DB Tech Service sponsoring the Saturday Night Thunder Series, ARCA League Manager taking care of our points manager software, and also the simfactory.com for producing the ARCA Sim Racing game, JD.
You bet. And we also like to thank Exile Racing. They sponsor the Sunday Night Shakedown Series. And I'll tell you what, we need to also mention the nation itself, racesimnation.net. You want to strap one of these babies on and get out there and play with these boys? I'll tell you what, you get on over to racesimnation.net and get her signed up and come on out here and play. Jody Johnson, always like to pass his name around here a little bit. ETV Live journalist for the weekly headlines over there at the Nation. He also does the weekly power rankings when he gets a shot at it. And of course, always ETV Live's executive producer and innovator here at ETV, John the Bad Boy Westling. Track master Dwayne Hall for reworking the tracks that we like to race here on at the Nation. And, of course, my co-host on Monday and Wednesday nights, Tracy Robinson, Wendy Bernard here on Monday nights with us. And I'll tell you what, thanks to all of the drivers for some of the best racing that we've ever seen online. Just another reminder, you want to get over and watch this baby again or not, get over to etv-eplay.net and check it out. I'll tell you what, John Westling, Sean Bickle putting together a pretty decent site over there to review all these races. So I'll tell you what, from Gateway International Speedway, the RSN Team Racing Series, and for Tracy Flip Robinson, good night.